All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to BHS, Business Honoring Spirituality. It is my pleasure today to introduce to you Alice and Ed. I've known Alice for a little while, and I've met Ed a little while back and was honored to be at their wedding. And when we planned this event, I was really excited to learn more about this presentation. And I think it's going to be a really dynamic presentation because we're bringing in two very different approaches and synthesizing them. So without further ado, Alice and Ed.
Thank you. Thank you. What an absolute pleasure to be in the room with you today. We're very excited, and like Jeremy said, we're joining forces in a lot of ways, and this is one of them. And so it's really re-energized and put some legs into some of the concepts I work with, and Ed has expressed that too. It's re-energized his whole presentation skills world. So welcome to the inaugural Lunch and Learn that we're going to start doing for BHS on the first Thursday of the month. So it's pretty exciting. Looks like it's taking off well, so thanks for being part of that. Today we're going to be learning some energy tools. It may be a review for you for some things, but we're also going to be learning some new things, and then we're going to be applying that to how you present. And look at how this interplay and exchange of energy applies to how you're getting your message across. Everybody in this room has an important reason to be, and a reason to be here, and reason to be here right now. And so what we want to do is connect a little bit more with how you convey that incredible message that you came here to deliver and make it land. And help people connect with you and your message and act. The big thing is act. Do the thing. So one of the things we're going to be working with is room management. And so Ed's going to start us off with a little management.
First thing, you want to make sure that your audience is well aware of the fact of what you're going to do. And what we're going to do is share some information with you. We're going to do activities around that information, and then we are going to kind of bring everything to a close and invite you to comment on the experience that you had here, because your feedback, since this is our inaugural event, is going to be very important to us. In order to manage the energy in the room, one of the key things that we have done already is created a space for all of you to be in. What we're going to guarantee you is two things, which frankly is a very bold thing to do when you start out a workshop. 2 guarantees? Are you kidding me? We're going to give you this much information in about that amount of time. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to make everyone in here a little uncomfortable. That's our intent. We want to push you out of your comfort zone because that's where growth happens. I'm now going to start with the first activity. It is the most difficult activity you're going to experience. We call it math and memory. You came in here and you sat down next to somebody that you probably are familiar with. What we're going to do is mix the energy up in the room. And we're going to divide it into 4 different table groups. And the way we're going to do that, and this is the hard part, is we're going to count off. If we want them to be in 4 groups, that'd be 4. Right? Count off by 4. And that will get people to 4 different tables. So we're going to start over here with you. You're going to be number 1. That will make you number 2. 4. And then this is the tough one, Zach. You're number... Hey, you got it! Nice work.
3, 4. 2.
3.
1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
Okay. What we're going to do is have 1s. You're going to move up to this table. 2s, you're going to move to this table. 3s, you'll be over here. 4s, you'll be over here. Take all your stuff with you and meet somebody new.
Where are the ones going?
One's right up here. Ones are right here. 2s, you're coming to this table. 3s, you're over here. And here we are a little mixture at the beginning yet. Just introduce yourself to your new table mates. Right up here.
Awesome, nicely done. Did you feel a little resistance when you had to do that? Because move.
I embraced it.
That's actually a good feeling. It's a good feeling to generate in your audience as you control this energy interplay, because there is learning there. There's a little breaking out of the mold. So now turn to the person next to you and say, thanks for showing up today.
Thanks for showing up today.
Awesome. So just a fun aside. So Ed and I intentionally energized this room before we got here. Did anybody notice anything? Feel a little different? A little different? Kind of? Yes? Thumbs up? I heard several times, don't I know you? Isn't that cool? Don't I know you energy? It's almost as if there's this familiarity in the field already. There's a little bit of that, and you can do that too. So, we talked about the uncomfortable energy a little bit, and now, another very productive energy to engender in your audience is curiosity. So if you look at your paper, who noticed the paper on the table already? And it said, what? Can't touch this. Can't touch this. So now you can touch that, and Ed is gonna, yeah.
As you turn that over, whenever you're dealing with visuals or new visual content for your audience, it's a good idea to go with what they need to do, which is to process the new information. So that's what I'm going to do with you now by previewing the worksheet with you. You'll see on the top, it's just got our contact info. Underneath there, we're going to talk about energy and its role, and spaces for you to take notes and a couple fill in the blanks. A little model over here of the Heart Math Institute. Underneath that, physical presentation skills. And we're going to talk about that and how you can channel your energy through these physical presentation skills to maximize your impact with your audience, and most importantly, get them to act. Then underneath there are some places to take notes. A little bonus we're going to do at the end is how to clear some limiting beliefs, and Alice is going to talk to you about that. And then underneath there is really the continuation. We're going to do a 90-minute session that's going to add on to the fundamental skill you're going to learn today, and then a 4-hour workshop that will complete all the skills you need for freestanding presentations. And then as soon as you start to incorporate visuals, PowerPoints or flip charts or props or whatever you're going to do, there's a whole new set of skills that go with that. And so that's what the 2-day event is for, and you can participate as much or as little as you like. As you know, this one, you had to pay for the lunch, but outside of that, this is free.
All right. So isn't that cool? That was so new to me, and I love that skill. So, you know, have you been in a situation where you've handed out the papers, and now you're talking, and you're looking at the tops of heads? So isn't that cool? So there's a nice little, that was a bonus one, handling physical materials. Okay, so now let's just go over a few energy basics to lay the groundwork. One of the basic foundational concepts of energy interplay is to be the compassionate observer. So imagine, if you will, that we're taking a step up on an imaginary step, and we're looking down at ourselves as if we would look at a little child we love. We're not judgy. We give them some slack. They can't do it quite right the first time, and that's okay. So it's very powerful to take the stance of the compassionate observer, because we can relax a little bit, we can have a little more fun, and we can watch ourselves in this interchange. It's also nice to be the compassionate observer when you're interacting with somebody else. We can kind of pull ourselves out a little bit and notice, oh, that looks like they're going through something. Looks like they're trying really hard right now. We can be that person. So compassionate observer, and if you've worked with me before, I know you've heard that before. And then another nice nice and effective tool is to say before. Any musicians in the house? You know what a grace note is? It's that little grace note that adds a little extra something to the note that's coming up. And so we can do that for ourselves. We can have a little grace and say, you know, public speaking just freaks me out. Before, public speaking freaked me out. I feel everything in my body just tensing up and my hands start to sweat and I have to get up in front of a group. Before, I feel my body reacting, etc. So if we can recontextualize, we're going to be talking a lot between each other and processing new information, but if we can get that concept that, okay, that was then, you're not the same person you were when you walked in here at 11:15 or 11:30, are you? Things have changed. You've interacted. You've had some conversations. You're already starting to think. And so you're not the same. So claim it. And say before, that was the old me. We debated on what to call this, and we were thinking like old me, and I thought it'd be confused with old goat and all that kind of thing. So we're gonna say before, and this is now. And I'm gonna claim my energy now. I'm gonna not be wasting it in the before times. Okay? All right. Now, if you'll take a look at your paper, you'll see a beautiful graphic. Has anybody seen this before? All right. That's the heart field, and I heard you say something about that earlier. So, the Heart Math Institute, I've been working with for about 20 years now, and I'm certified in their technique, which is called quick coherence, and that connects us with that heart field. Heart and head. Who said that? Heart and head working together? Yes. Heart and head, but then it was mentioned again.
Right here, Cody.
Oh, that's right. Oh, you're waiting for her. Okay, perfect. So the Heart Math Institute has researched at length how this heart-brain connection is working. And so in a triple-blind study, the Heart Math Institute put the stimulus in front of the subject. They were all wired up to measure all their different physiology and their brain function. And they would flash a picture. And so they read it out, and they noticed that the heart was reacting before the head. And so the pictures would come up, it'd be fluffy bunnies, happy baby, it would react one way, it would be a scary picture, a house on fire, whatever it is, and the brain would react another way, but the heart was reacting before the brain. Interesting, right? Further, they noticed that the heart reacted before the picture showed up on the screen. So that's okay. That's us. That's how we're wired. Our heart has so much knowledge. It's in the field. It's getting this information before we even know there is information, right? So if that's not enough, further, the heart reacted before the computer knew what picture it was picking. Randomized picking. The computer hadn't even chosen yet. So what is the powerhouse that we have in us? And if you look at that picture, it looks like something else you might have seen. What's it remind you of? The what? Oh, the Da Vinci. Yeah, the Da Vinci.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect, what is that called? The perfect mean or something? Yeah, the perfect ratio or something. The divine ratio. You might have seen a picture of the Earth and the electromagnetic field around the Earth. That's what we are. We are mirrors of that. And so we have this beautiful field around us. And when I ask a group, do you do energy? And people say yes or no. And then I say, maybe it's a no person, I say, have you ever felt someone in your bubble? And you are doing energy. You're in the field. You're sensing it. What's really funny, I was standing with a couple of women, and I was talking about you, Sandy, and you turned, and you kind of looked around. It was the funniest thing. I'm like, what, did you see your turn? So we're doing energy all the time, but now we can learn to focus and direct that energy and have some more say-so in how that interaction is happening. So that is the basics of energy interplay. It's not just energy going one way. It's energy interplaying between people, And for the purposes of our conversation today, it's going to be the interplay of the energy between you and your audience. So on your paper, it says the keys to energy interplay. And those two keys are our attention and our intention. So I have your attention right now on this ball. Except I told you to write, now you're writing. So that's another good managing thing. So, attention, your attention. So right now, look at the ball, look at the ball, look at the ball. So I can control your attention if you keep looking at the ball. Here's your attention. But now I can hold the ball and ask you, I love that this is actually a little earth. Our earth could use some love right now. So let's send some love to that. Now you are sending intention. See the distinction? And we can control that. We might be the only species, only one I know of, that can do this. We can consciously say, I am now going to think about this, and I'm going to have this element and this quality to that focus. So let's go back to heart math for a minute. I'm going to teach you a very quick 3-step process to activate this heart. Now I love in Mile High, and all of the groups that I know we're all in, we all say, let's take a deep breath and let's close our eyes, right? Close our eyes, take a deep breath. Well, those are wonderful tools to shift our energy. So now I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and allow that attention that we're talking about to drift now. Allow it to drift down, down, down until your focus rests right in the center of your chest, right in the center of your heart space. And if it helps you focus, you can place one or both hands on your heart. And now with your next breath, imagine that you can breathe as if breathing in and out through the center of your heart. And in that brief moment, you have changed your state. We're a little less out of head energy, more into powerful heart energy. All right, when you're ready, open your eyes. Those are just the first 2 steps to coherence. But they're 2 powerful steps, aren't they? Do you notice a shift in the energy in the room? You feel you're more connected to your own personal inner, beautiful biosphere, bioelectric sphere of energy. All right, so you can go ahead and finish writing if you didn't yet. Attention and intention from the heart.
You'll notice when she was seeking your attention, she drew your eyes to a particular point in the room. My particular area of study is neuropsychology. How does brain structure and function influence how people process the tangible world around them? The energy work that Alice does is about how do they process the intangible world around them. What we have discovered is the 2 of those mesh very nicely. I'm going to share with you now something you don't know about how your body works. Now, don't panic, I'm going to do it from up here. Take a look at your worksheet and see the words energize your message on the top. Pick which one of those words resonates the most with you. Is it energize, your, or message? And then circle it. See people circling different things. If you circled the exclamation point at the end, you probably have some issues that I can't deal with. I want you to focus your eyes on the word that you circled. And then without moving your eyes off that word, look at it right now. Without moving your eyes off that word, I want you to read with your peripheral vision the list of physical skills halfway down the page, but you can't move your eyes off the word. How's that working for you? No one can do that. The reason is we have two visual systems, not a single one. They work in harmony with each other. The very center part of our vision is fully connected to our brain. 44 different areas light up, according to the MRI research that's been done. That center part of our vision can read. Our peripheral vision cannot. It's not fully connected. It's connected to other parts. It's meant to do other things. This body we inhabit, as Alice has pointed out to me, and I've learned from her, is designed for a world of 10,000 years ago. It's not designed for this. Consequently, all the distractions and all the noise and so on and so forth has made people lose that connection that so many of you are helping people to reconnect, to feel that connection to the great energy that is all around us. The other thing is, on a physical level, we're wired in a particular fashion to process the tangible information around us. Our peripheral vision pays attention to motion, light, and color. If things differentially lit from the background, if it's very colorful, or if it's moving, it's meant to signal our center vision to pay attention to it, because it's our center vision that can fully process that content. I suspect, even though no research has been done, that those who didn't pay attention to things that moved, were differentially lit from the background, or had a lot of color to them, were eaten by a tiger and had no descendants. But we pay attention. Now, what's crucial is this becomes a two-way street. You need to, as an effective speaker, not only control where you're looking, you need to control where the audience is looking. Because if you don't have the center part of their vision, they can't fully process what you're saying, what you're showing them. It's not their fault. It's how we're all wired. But today, we're just going to touch on controlling the center part of your vision. Because as a speaker, you create a problem for yourself when you do what's natural. And when we talked in this circle, we saw what was natural. We saw people's eyes, because we've all been told we're professionals, we're good one-on-one with people, or we wouldn't be sitting in this room. But we've been told to make eye contact. What's that mean? To scan across the room and kind of flit across the different eyes? That's what we saw in the circle. And then when somebody didn't know what to say next, where do they tend to look if they don't have notes? You saw it. You see it all the time with speakers. Where do they look? They look down, is very popular. Another choice? Up. And it's because in the environment we live in now, what have we learned? How much visual content is there to process on ceilings and floors? Nothing. We look to a blank space. Typically that's when non-words occur. And then we can get our train of thought going again if we can talk to people. So by moving your eyes quickly around a room and taking it all in, while it feels like that's what we're doing to make eye contact, it creates a problem. You're lighting up 44 different areas of the brain with that center part of the vision. Each transition you make, it's processing all of this incoming data. You're trying to remember the thoughts that you've given, or are trying to give to your audience. You get gridlock. Your brain shuts down the only thing you're allowing it to shut down, which is outgoing thought. How many of you have been in the middle of a well-prepared talk and gone blank? All right, show of hands. We've all been there. It's because you're forcing your brain to try to do too much. So we catch up by looking to a blank space. We catch up on processing visual stimulus because there's not much to process there. It would also work if you think about it. Close your eyes when you speak to a group. But this does have its drawbacks. The most productive place to focus your attention is into the eyes of your audience. Now, Sandy's this close. I actually have to choose an eye. You get your right eye right now. As I move towards the back of the room to Kate, I can now see 2 eyes. In a great big room, 900 people, you might actually be looking at a head or a torso. You're still getting the benefit as a speaker of limiting the visual stimulus you have to process. But particularly in groups where you can see their eyes and see their response, that's gold. You can't see how they're responding to your message when your eyes are going around the room like this. It doesn't work. You want to deliver a point to a person and stay there. Each one of your points is a gift to your audience. Watch them open it.
So you knew there had to be balls in the energy interplay, right? Who's played ball with us before? So what Ed's talking about is one precious point, one precious message that you want to keep your folks focused on, as opposed to that. So what was that? That one was less effective, diffused energy. What am I supposed to be looking at? Where are they going with this message? That's what that one is. So let's have the balls back. Oh, I know. I know. Come back to energy interplay only. So we're going to be focused on your one point to one person, and it's going to feel more. You ready? It's going to feel more like this. And I finished. Whoops! Great catch. I was still looking at her eyes. So what I'm doing is I'm going to try to aim. You ready? So I am letting Jennison open the gift, and I'm letting his response come back to me. Does this look familiar, energy interplay people? Does it look like maybe we're creating that figure 8 at the top of your page? So we're going to allow it to, I'm going to throw it to you, Jen. Melissa has her hands up. So I'm delivering my point, and he's sharing it with Melissa. So we're controlling that energy of that back and forth. So we're going to be throwing imaginary balls. I'm going to try. Too short.
Clearly we need some pitching activity. But the activity we're going to do now, you're never going to forget. You're going to know this the rest of your life. If you look on your worksheet, you're going to see under the physical presentation skills. The standalone skills, not including visuals, cover eyes, posture, stance and movement, gestures, and voice. And that's what we'll run you through with the 90-minute and the 4-hour session. We'll give you tools that will help you to master all of those. And then in a 2-day session, you demonstrate that mastery, you cement it, and then we incorporate visuals and handling questions and dealing with people who can be difficult in the room and all of those things. Today, since we have such a short amount of time, we're going to focus on just, over here on the side, you'll see OP, OP, OP. How many of you know or have seen the Andy Griffith Show? Really? So what's the kid's name? Opie. So this is how you're always going to remember it. Opie, Opie, Opie. And to make it even more memorable, if we can, you can connect some audio to that.
What's our point?
This is a mnemonic, a memory device. You'll now never forget Opie, Opie, Opie. The first 2 OPs are what I want to talk to you about. I know you understand the concept now of delivering to one person, one point. I know you understand. What you're going to find is it's easy to understand. It's really hard to do. You're going to break lifelong habits here in this next activity. So be the compassionate observer with yourself. Cut yourself some slack. This is not easy. So I'm going to preface it with that. What you're going to do is because that's why we divided you into relatively equal groups around the table. And actually, I'm going to have Melissa or Dodie, if you would, join the back table for me. I need 4. Very good. We've got Melissa, that'll work. Thank you, Dodie. Say goodbye to Dodie.
Hi, Dodie. Thanks for learning our AD.
I'm going to show you these skills kind of turned all the way to right, and then it's your judgment that decides how much do I need to turn this on. And the way you're going to incorporate this skill initially is relatively robotic. It's designed to be, because it gives you kind of steps where you're walking before you're running, which is what we want to do here. So if I could have, let me have this table over here, raise your hands and just rest them on the table for me. Just raise a hand and rest on the table for me. And then your job as a speaker, you're going to do this all group by group in a moment, is you're going to connect your eyes to somebody who's seated at your table, because you're going to stand up. And then they're going to, as soon as they feel your eyes on them, they're going to start counting slowly to themselves. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. Then they're going to lower their hand gently. So you just count it before lowering your hand. There you go. And then that will be my signal as soon as you lower your hand. There, now I know I can go to the next person. And so now I'll talk to Kate, and I'll do that for the amount of time it takes her to count to 4. And then when she's finished counting to 4, she's going to lower her hand. And that's my signal to move to the next person. And then I'll keep talking to that person until they lower their hand, because I've been there for 4 seconds. And that's my signal to move to the next person. This is not natural. If it was natural, I would have had a 35-year career teaching people how to do this. So be patient with yourself. In order to have content, we found, since you're practicing something on a conscious level, and multitasking, whether you realize it or not, is a myth. Nobody can really focus on 2 things at once. People are good at switching back and forth between tasks, and we consider that multitasking, but that's not really what's going on. So what you're going to do is you're just going to tell us how you get ready to go out one night. So content that you're intimately familiar with, you can leave out the parts we're not interested in. But just tell us, what do? Get up, put the covers off, start with some coffee, some tea, meditate, what do? And then your job is going to be just to knock down all 4 hands. You won't get to finish telling us how you get ready. So be prepared for that. Because as soon as you knock down the 4 hands, you're done. It'll be the next person's job, clockwise, to stand up and do the same activity. What questions do you have about what you're going to do? Do this at your table with your table mates. Yeah, you're not coming up here. So you only have to knock down 4 hands, or in the case of 4 people, only 3 hands.
So are we standing up, or, the person that's talking?
The person talking is going to stand up. But just stand up right at the table.
Okay.
And then the other people have their hands like this, and you look at them as you're talking.
You look at them as they're talking, and then they start counting slowly themselves. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. Lower their hand, and that's your cue to move to the next person. The best speakers, of course, are going to look all around the room. It's not going to be in a row. But for the purposes of first learning this, shoot them down like ducks in a shooting gallery. One right after the other. It's easy. Any other questions?
I have a question for clarity. Are they finishing the point with that person? Or are we just continuing to talk?
Not
Okay.
going yet.
All right.
Okay. All right, so this is the fun activity. Everybody point to the ceiling. Now point to the person who's first at your table. Go. All right, Jack, you're first over here. First over here. Stand up if you got pointed out. All right. Hands up if you're the audience. Hands on the table. And then this is going to get a little noisy because we're going to have 4 people speaking at once. But go. person, stand up. Oh. Hang on just a second.
Do you wait till he looks at you, or do all of us just come forward?
Oh, wait till they look at you before you start your count. And if their eyes leave you, reset the count.
Oh. Because you guys are advanced.
All right, Zach, you can be done. And we're going to go move around the table now.
Oh no, it's new to everyone. I've never done this. Then I go downstairs.
That's perfect. And you're just counting to 4 slowly. And then put your hand down. Perfect.
Next person.
Depending on whether or not
Awesome. All right, next person.
Then I definitely bio break and hit kitchen from coffee. Not necessarily
Who hasn't gone over here yet?
3 more, actually.
Okay, I'm going to have this return set if you wouldn't move the back table a little bit. And you can move over here. Your turn. Okay. Question for you. How does it feel when you're the audience member getting directly looked at? Yeah, there's importance, there's value there. Okay. How does it feel the first time trying to do this? Be blunt. Okay. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. We're not used to doing this. And yet, as I said before, everybody in here is an expert on a one-to-one conversation. Or you wouldn't be in here. All we're doing is showing you a tool you can use to talk one-to-one to a room full of people. That's really what's going on. Sure.
I totally understand what you're saying, and I certainly see the good in it. My question, though, is when you're talking and looking at one person, you don't want to really, am I correct in saying you don't really want to look at them that long? Like, let's say it takes 2 or 3 minutes to explain your point. You don't want to, be looking at just one person for that long.
Well, let's see how that works out. If the speaker looks at one person for too long, about how long does it take before that person starts to feel, why is the speaker staring at me? And so we're about there now, Connie? So, rule of thumb is somewhere between 3 and 5 seconds. Is a good amount of time to look. That's why we chose 4 seconds to be that amount of time. But the reality is, it's not a mechanical event. It doesn't last a fixed number of seconds. That's silly. lasts until the end of your point. Now, not your big point that you're going to use all these sentences to explain. It lasts until your first sentence is done. If you've got a compound sentence, by definition, that's 2 sentences. So you should move from one person to the next in between. The skill, advanced skill that we're going to share with you is going to be the last opie. You can write this in. It's one person, lock eyes with one person, deliver one point, and then take one pause. See a couple people still writing. The difference is that pause, and again, it's nice to know, but frankly useless if you can't do it. And so that's why come back to our 90 minutes. We'll practice this and you'll own it by the time you leave there. Sure.
I have a question. On the last exercise, I started off fine, but then my brain, as I got to the second person, my brain goes, oh, she's got a nice smile. And then I got to Jeremy and I went, oh, I like the color of his shirt. And I'm like, get ADD, you know, focus. And so then I'm like, well, I'm supposed to be talking. So how do you control that a little better?
Practice.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to tell you there's a magic bullet. There's not.
Okay.
It's going to be practice in order to accomplish that. The key of the pause is it allows you so many different advantages as a speaker. One, as you've noticed, I started this right from the beginning. This is how I learned to talk. To do it differently than this, I have to make conscious effort to break thoughts in the middle. I deliver a whole point, pause to see how you respond to it. Okay, Kate's with me, I can see a little head nod. And then I come over here and talk to Jennifer. That pause is magic. It is your best friend as a speaker. If you master that, when you master that, it will set you apart from every speaker that goes before and after. Because what's natural is to look around the room like this.
That's fantastic. So what I love about this energetically is that it keeps you focused on the other and not just on you. We're really focusing on, what's the big thing we're focusing on? Anybody?
Other people.
You see other people, but even more than that, what are we here to deliver? Presence, the message. So it keeps us focused on that message, which automatically reduces our anxiety. We took the spotlight off of us. If what we're saying is so important that we'll do anything to deliver it, we can stay in the flow and keep that moving. So I wanted to give you a quick, universal reduction of anxiety for presenting tool. Anybody done EFT, emotional freedom technique, or tapping? Yes. So powerful. So my 911 spot for this is right here. And so what we can do is gently pat. Gently pat. And so we're telling everything along this. These are our Cake 27, Kidney 27 points right here. And that can hold anxiety and anger and fear and all kinds of awesome stuff that our kidneys help us process. But when we tap them, we soothe all of that and all memories associated with that. So what we can do is say this phrase that is at the bottom of your sheet that says, let's do this one together. Even though I'm a little afraid of public speaking, I am willing, and the willing makes it true, I am willing to deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I get nervous when I have to speak in front of people, even though I get nervous when I have to speak in front of people, I am willing to deeply and completely love and accept myself. What else comes up? Even though my stomach feels tension, there's a good one. I always find physical. Even though my stomach feels tension when I have to speak to people in a group, I am willing to deeply and completely love and accept myself. Nice deep breath. That's your little 911. You can do at the stoplight, on the way to where you're going to speak. You can do this, go in the bathroom, give yourself a minute, and you can reset that field. These are all tools to reset this field so that you're managing your energy and you affect everybody in the room. Doesn't that feel good? Do you feel a little bit better after we just did that little bit? Isn't that amazing? I love that tool. All right, so we talked today, we're running out of time, so we're going to gallop to the finish. There's more. There's so much more. And it's so much fun. And it's empowering to be able to deliver your message so it lands, isn't it? It's already shifted a little bit. So we talked about generally energy and how this energy exchange is working when we're together in this setting. We talked about some tools. We talked about the right heart field and how we can get more connected with that heart field so that we're moving heart forward into these spaces that we're doing this. We also learned a great tool of OP. We learned hardcore 2 OPs, but we'll learn some more. And then this little tool to neutralize and adjust your state. So, yeah, so that's that.
If the next time, and particularly once you've mastered the pausing, if you go and do a presentation to a group and they walk out of that meeting and they go, wow, did you get a load of Melissa's eye contact? Then we've done something horribly wrong here today. It's not about the eye contact. It's not about the tools. It's about your energy being channeled out into the audience with those tools. And then you putting yourself in a position to be able to fully process the energy that's coming back. We can build on that, and build on that, and build on that. As I told Alice, I can do these presentation skills for about 2 weeks worth of content. To squeeze it into 40 minutes, that's why I gave you that much. Because I want you to walk out of here not only with the idea, but knowing that you can hold your gaze with somebody in the audience for a lot longer than you think you can, and they like it. And more than that, you get to see how they're responding to the message you're delivering.
Awesome.
Comment card?
All right, so we have comment cards. And it's really helpful for us. This is the first time we delivered it. Thank you, and thanks for letting us, guinea pig you and work our role out with you. So go ahead. Yeah, so we really appreciate you filling that out. And then we're going to collect them, and we'll have a little drawing for a little giveaway. And then we'll be at the table after for questions. What? A brand new card. Wait, I'll be right back.